Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Thursday, December 1st. First up, we see Arizona taking on Utah. This one a Pac-12 game at 8:30 Eastern start time on Pac-12 Network. Now, Arizona is the number 4 ranked team right now in the country, and they are undefeated right now as they are 6-0 to start the season. Their most impressive wins, Creighton, Cincinnati, and San Diego State. 3 other wins were against Nicholls, Southern, and Utah Tech. So this Arizona team's off to a great start, scoring a ton of points. They're number 3 in adjusted offensive efficiency. Now, their defense not as strong. They're not really forcing many turnovers on the defensive end. They're struggling to defend the perimeter a little bit. And, we haven't seen this Arizona team in a true road game. This will be their first one of the season. We saw last year they lost 3 games in the regular season. All 3 of those games were true road games and against teams in the top 80 in KenPom. And that fits the bill right here for Utah, who's ranked 63rd in KenPom. And they've made improvements since their upset loss to Sam Houston State. But we know that Sam Houston State team pretty good this season, and I do like the way that Utah is defending the basketball. They're doing good on the perimeter, 14th ranked three-point defense. Now, like Arizona, they're not forcing many turnovers, but I do think that this Utah team has plenty of talent. I like the fact that they get to the free throw line at a pretty good rate, and number 4 effective field goal percentage defense. When you're a home team playing good defense, you usually can give yourself a good chance to at least cover the number. I think that Utah at least covers this one, maybe pulls off the big time upset, but I'm not going to go to that full extent yet. Give me the Utah Utes plus the points in this one. Next up, we see a game between 2 top 10 teams. It's going to be in the Big East Big 12 battle between Creighton and Texas. This one is 7 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN. The Texas Longhorns offense looks great. They're number 12 in adjusted offensive efficiency, but not enough is said about this Texas defense under Chris Beard, one of the more defensive mastermind coaches in the country. And this team is ranked 3rd in adjusted defensive efficiency, 4th in turnover percentage on defense. They're great inside the paint, and I do think they're going to give Creighton some trouble here on offense. I know Creighton's a very good scoring team themselves, but Texas's defense is really tough to beat, especially at home. They do like to slow things down defensively. They're ranked 300th in average possession length on defense. So, I do think this is going to be a lower scoring game, pretty slow game overall. And usually when you see 2 tough teams go at it, it's a pretty low scoring game we could expect, especially when Texas is involved. So give me Texas in the under, and this one should be a great game to watch. Next up, we see another game in the Big East Big 12 battle. This one will follow up right after that Creighton-Texas game. You're going to watch Seton Hall and Kansas, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Now, I'd love to be able to take the underdog in this spot, but Seton Hall's offense has just not been efficient enough. I'm going to take the Kansas Jayhawks here, lay the points with the defending champs. Seton Hall, 86 in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're 312th in turnover percentage on offense. So you look at their shooting numbers, they're ranked 207 in effective field goal percentage. We can expect those numbers to sharpen up as the season continues. I do think Seton Hall will have a better shooting percentage from 3 and 2-point range, and even the free throw line as we continue. But the big worrisome thing for me is their turnover percentage. 22.4% against a team like Kansas that's very keen on forcing turnovers and getting into that fast break offense. This is the 13th ranked adjusted defensive efficiency team. They're 55th in average possession length, so they like to work very quick and in transition with their offense, and I don't like this matchup at all for Seton Hall. I'd love to get there with an underdog against Kansas because we're probably going to get some value betting against the defending champs as the season continues, but not in this spot. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks and land the points. Next up, we see Washington taking on Oregon State. This one's going to be at 10 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPNU. I like Washington to win this one big in the end. Oregon State, I think, was pretty fortunate to actually have as good a numbers in that series, in that non-conference tournament as they did. And they still lost every game that they played in that tournament to Duke, Florida, Portland State. But I don't really like their chances going forward. There's a reason this team is ranked 241st in KenPom right now. That's worse than a lot of mid-major teams and certainly one of the worst in Power 5 conferences. And Oregon State, they have issues turning the ball over. They don't rebound the ball very well. They haven't shot the ball very well. And now you're playing a Washington team that's really improved this season. They're 6-1 to start the year. And yes, this is their first true road game, which is something I would be concerned with a little bit. But Washington's defense is playing really, really well against really all different types of offenses. We saw against St. Mary's, a team that really likes to slow things down. Washington was fine in that game, winning it in overtime. Big win for Washington in the end. Then we saw them play against a team like Seattle, who is very efficient from the perimeter. We saw Cam Tyson's been one of the best three-point shooters in the country, and Seattle, who shoots a lot of three-pointers, going up against a 2-3 zone like Washington. It looked like it was a pretty good matchup on paper for Seattle, but the reason why I liked Washington in that game was because this defense is able to adjust. We saw the adjustments at halftime. Washington was down by 2 points. They won the game by double digits in the end because they made those adjustments. The front court looks real good for this Washington team. The offense is not the most efficient on paper, but I think as the season continues, you're going to see this Washington team really improve. I like the direction this program is headed. I think this could be a big year for Washington basketball. I like their chances in this game. Give me Washington laying the points. And the final game we're going to go over for Thursday's card in college hoops. It's between Cornell and Delaware. This one is 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, I do think Delaware has been pretty unlucky this season. When you just look at their numbers on paper, they're ranked 156th in adjusted offensive efficiency, but they're shooting 260th ranked in effective field goal percentage. They're struggling from the perimeter, but I think this offense is a lot better than those numbers. I do think that those shooting percentages will sharpen up as the season continues. They played some tough matchups already this year against teams like Air Force, Duke, and Penn and Colgate. They took care of Colgate in that 72-68 final. This is going to be their first home game of the season, Delaware, against a Division I opponent. Their first home game was in the beginning of the year against a subdivision team, but this is their first one against a D1 school. You know, Cornell's played a few road games this season, but I do think that this is a team that you got to watch out for in terms of unsustainability on offense. They're ranked 143rd in adjusted offensive efficiency, which is good, but 7th in effective field goal percentage, 58.9%, and second in the country in 64.5% from two-point range. I don't think that's going to be able to hold up. This is a good offense, not a great offense, certainly not a top 100 to top 50 offense in terms of shooting percentages. And we see Cornell turning the ball over a lot, not really getting to the free throw line a bunch, and also struggling from the free throw line. So this is a team that's shooting very well from the floor, but for some reason shooting 57.1% at the free throw line as a team. There's a lot of inconsistencies in those numbers, and I do think it adds up to one thing, some unsustainability and some regression. So give me Delaware here. I think this is a perfect spot for them to bounce back from that loss against Penn. I'm going to take the Delaware Blue Hens and lay the points to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday, December 1st. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.